Good day everyone, we're Group 5 and our topic is about drug addiction. Drug addiction can start with experimental use of recreational drug in social situations, and for some people, the drug use becomes more frequent. For others, particularly with exposure to prescribed medication or receiving medication from a friend or relative who has been prescribed the medication. The risk of addiction and how fast you become addicted varies by drug. Some drugs, such as opioid painkillers, have a higher risk and cause addiction more quickly than others. As time passes, you may need a larger doses to the drug to get high. Soon you may need the drug just to feel good. As your drug use increases, you may find that it's increasingly difficult to go without the drug. Attempts to stop drug use may cause intense cravings and make you feel physically ill, withdrawal symptoms. You need help from your doctor, family, friends, support groups, or an organized treatment program to overcome your drug addiction and stay drug-free. Drug addiction, also substance use disorder, is a disease that affects a person's brain and behavior and leads to an ability to control the use of legal or illegal drug or medication. Substances such as alcohol, marijuana, and nicotine also are considered drugs. When you're addicted to, you may continue using the drug despite the harm it causes.
It's a biophysical disorder characterized by repeated use of drugs or repetitive engagement in a behavior, such as a gambling, despite harm to self and others. According to the brain disease model of addiction, while a number of physico-social factors contribute to the development and maintenance of addiction, a biological process that is induced by repeated exposure to an addictive stimulus is the core pathology that drives the development and maintenance of addiction. Many scholars who study addiction agree that the brain disease model is incomplete and misleading. The brain disease model posits that addiction is a disorder of the brain reward system which arises through transcriptional and epigenetic changes and develops over time from chronically high levels of exposure to an addictive stimulus. Delta Fosby, a genetic transcription factors, is a critical component and common factor in the development of virtually all forms of behavioral and drug addiction. Two decades of research into Fosby's role in addiction have demonstrated the dictionaries and assorted compulsive behavior intensive of attentiveness along with overexpression of Fosby in the D1 type medium spiny neuronal nucleus of nucleus. A convince Fosby expression in these neurons directly and positively regulates drug self-administration and reward synthesization. Through positive reinforcement will discern sensitivity to aversion. Lung cancer from smoked tobacco products, liver cirrhosis, and dementia from chronic alcohol composition, and mount from methamphetamine. The loss of productivity and associated for cost, fatal and non-fatal accidents. Habits and patterns associated with addiction are typical characters by immediate gratification coupled with deleteriation effect. Couple of drugs and behavioral addiction, including alcoholism, marijuana addiction, amphetamine addiction, cocaine addiction, nicotine addiction, opioid addiction, food addiction, chocolate addiction, video gaming addiction, gambling addiction, the sexual addiction with introduction of the ICD-11 gaming addiction was appended.
Hi, this is Enmar Ortega and we're going to discuss about drug addiction. So, drugs, we all know that it destroys everyone's life, especially your future, so stay away from it. So, what are drugs? Drugs are chemical substances that can change how your body and mind work. They include prescription medicines, over-the-counter medicines, alcohol, tobacco, and illegal drugs. So, what is drug use? Drug use or misuse includes using illegal substances such as anabolic steroids, club drugs, cocaine, heroin, inhalants, marijuana. Misusing prescription medicines including opioids. This means taking the medicines in different way than the healthcare provider prescribed. So it means that someone is prescribing you, maybe a doctor, but you are taking it in different way. The drug, you are taking it in different way, which is you are abusing it, and it is not good for your body, so you better not do it. So it means that taking a larger dose the way it is to be taken. So we all know that drug use is dangerous. It can harm your brain, body, sometimes permanently. It can hurt the people around you, including friends, families, kids, and unborn babies, especially if you are pregnant and you are taking drugs, which is not good for your unborn baby because it can affect how they develop inside your stomach. So drug use can also lead to addiction. So this is the very, very difficult part, the drug addiction. So what is drug addiction? Drug addiction is a chronic brain disease. It causes a person to take drugs repeatedly despite the harm they cause. Repeated drug use can change the brain and lead to addiction. So drug use can really change the way you think. It affects your brain, your mental health, which is not good because all we do is comes from our brain. If your brain cannot perform properly, how you can do the things properly? So it really important to stay away from drugs, because if you really want to be a successful person, you need to stay away from it. Instead of taking drugs, you need to do some good things in life. And does everyone who takes drugs become addicted. So not everyone who uses drugs become addicted. Everyone's bodies and brains are different. So their reactions to drugs can also different. Some people addicted quickly, some people may not like it, some people will addicted to it, but it will take a long time for them to be addicted. So first one, mental health problems. People who have untreated mental health problems such as depression, anxiety, or attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD, are more likely to become addicted. So this type of people who suffers from this, problems are the ones who become more addicted to drugs because they may think that is the only solution for them to escape the reality, which is not good for them because they are fantasizing themselves. And also, one cause of drug addiction is trouble at home. If your home is an unhappy place or was when you were growing up, you might be more likely to have a drug problem because you are just trying to forget the stupid past or the sad past in your life by taking drugs, but it is not really helpful for you. So trouble in school, at work, or with making friends, you might use drugs to get your mind off these problems because you are having trouble to have friends or you are stressed in school, so you are using drug to be your stress reliever, which is not good. That is a drug abuse. And hanging around other people who use drugs, especially if your friends are using drugs and you are hanging out with them, which is not good, you should try to choose your friends who is good influence and not the bad ones because it can affect your personality and your attitude as a person. So my message to you all, guys, please stay away from drugs. As a teenager, using drugs is not good because we are still in the making. Our body is still developing and it will not develop well if we are going to use drugs, and it will affect how our lives goes on in the future, and we don't want that. We want to be a successful one, so we need to stay away from it. And instead of taking drugs, I suggest that you must try some fun things, that really cool stuff. You need to do some exercise, sports, or something productive in life instead of taking drugs to escape the reality or your problems, which is not good. So that's all for today. I am Edmar Ortega, and thank you.
What is drug addiction? Nowadays, drug addiction is very common to everyone. Addiction is a chronic disease characterized by drug seeking as use that compulsive or difficult to control despite harmful consequences. The essential decision to take drug is voluntarily for most people, but repeated drug use can lead to brain change that challenge and addicted persons to self-control and interfere that with their ability to resist intends to take drugs. Person continues to use drugs. The brain adapts by reducing the ability of cell in the reward circuit to respond to it. This reduces the high that the person feel compared to the high they felt when first taking the drug, an effect known as tolerance. They might take more or of the drug to try and achieve the same high. These brain adaptations often lead to person become less and less able to derive pleasure from the things they once enjoyed, like foods, sex, or social activities. Some of drug addiction want to have sex with animals, some of it kills people, and many more. They do that because they are already tolerant by using drugs. They are some celebrities also this addicted to drugs. One of it is Michael Jackson. Many people don't understand why or how other people become addicted to drugs. They may mistakenly think that those who use drug lack moral principle or willpower, and they could stop their drug use simply by choosing to. Drug change the brain in ways that may quietly hard even for those who want to it's common for a person to relapse, but relapse doesn't mean that there's no doesn't work. In addition, Act instituting the Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act of 2002, repealing Republic Act number 6425. Drug addiction is spreading to the world. In fact, our country is one of it. The most common used drug in Philippines is variant of shabu, may remain to be the main drug of abuse, comprehensing of drugs 94% of the total admission, followed by marijuana at 24% according to a 2012 United Nations report. Philippines had the highest rate of shabu abuse among countries in Asia. Because of it, there is a war on drugs. President Rodrigo Duterte has carried it had that has led to the deaths of over 12,000, mostly urban poor, at least 2,555 of the killing have been attributed to the Philippines. Last year, 2019, the prevalence of illegal drugs in the Philippines is lower than the global average. President Rodrigo Duterte has claimed that the country should be a narco state.
Can drug addiction be cured or prevented? Research show that combining addiction treatment medicine with the behavior therapy ensure that best chance of success for most patients. Results from NIDA-funded research have shown that prevention program involved families, school, communities, and the media are effective for preventing or reducing drug using. The outreach are key in helping people understand the possible reach of the drug using.
To resist temptation in drugs, try to avoid places where drugs and alcohol will be available, and learn to cope with stress. Try to relax without any using illegal drugs and surround yourself with good influence, friends who doesn't use drugs. And drug addiction is a powerful demon that can sneak up to you and take over your life. Before you know it has even happened. What started out as a just recreational lifestyle has overcome your life and affected every single aspect of it. And how how to avoid drug addiction is to make yourself busy in doing good things, like spend your time with your family and do homework or business to make your life meaningful, fruitful, and also spend your time with God so that you can avoid drug addiction. Thank you.